a short play called Hank and Annie. Enjoy. Once upon a time always end well, but only because we always forget about the once upon a times that don't. Such as Romeo and Juliet, Bonnie and Clyde, Kim and Chris. This is a story about Annie and Hank. Hank, a young student, inside the hall of his school in front of a large vending machine. Hank inserts a coin and makes his selection. The machine clunks and crashes, but his selection refuses to fall. The machine is jammed. In frustration, Hank begins to attack the machine.
That stupid poison should have worked yesterday.
What did you just call me?
Nothing, unless your name is Listerine.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you can't die of a mouthwash overdose. You just end up drunk with minty diarrhea.
Hank and Annie were soon to find that they had something in common. A mutual, overwhelming desire to die.
You know, I was just on my way to the failed suicide support group. You wouldn't want to join me, would you? All right. And there's coffee, but it's always cold.
Hello to our new and old faces. I want to remind everyone to respect one another. Refreshments will be served after the meeting. But right now, I'd like to open the floor. Would anyone like to start us out?
My name is Clara, and I'm a new member, and I'm a recovering suicide attempter.
Hi, Clara.
I tried to commit suicide by holding my breath for long periods of time. Obviously, I failed. It just added to my feeling of failure. I could no longer face the world around me. I attempted suicide because I failed my calculus final. I've never failed a test before, and I was devastated. Facing my peers became unbearable, and life was never the same. I called a hotline, and they told me that it wasn't the end of the world, and that there's always tomorrow. But it just seemed unlikely that I would ever live down the embarrassment. So I locked myself in my room, and I held my breath for almost a whole minute. And I felt like I was really close, so I did it again. But then I just passed out, and everyone thought I fell asleep on the floor. Today I'm looking forward and trying not to think of all my failures. The Honor Society said that I'm always welcome, and my teacher said that given the circumstances, I'll be able to take the test again. So this time, I'll study instead of going skiing with my friends in the
Holding your breath for long periods of time? Really? You don't want to die, so you failed at Calcutta. Who gives a good Aunt Jemima if you fail at that Calcutta? Work on your suicide attempt instead. After all, you ain't gonna need that Calcutta where you going. Thank you, Clara, for sharing your story with us. Who else would like to go?
Hello, everyone. My name's Hank.
Hi, Hank.
I'm here because I just can't take it anymore. Last week, I failed a makeup test. There was no new material. It was literally the exact same test. There's no way I should have failed it. Granted, I didn't really study, but that's besides the point. And let's not forget that Susie broke up with me on the bus last week. We've been going steady for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? You know how hard it is to go out with a girl for 2 weeks? Gosh. And then there's gym class. Coach Malarkey keeps making us try to climb the rope. Now, Jake Wiles can't even climb the rope, and he's captain of the football team. but Coach keeps making me go first every day. Ugh. And I can't even kill myself right. I stole a sport from the cafeteria and tried to stab myself with it. I ran headlong into a wall while holding it against my stomach. And when I woke up in the nurse's office 20 minutes later, all I had was a headache and a lot of explaining to do. It sucks. I should just run faster next time, right?
No, Dodo. You don't have time to date. You must invest all your time into your suicide attempt. My God, Hank, a sport? What the hell is a sport? Really, can't you get anything right? Next time, jump from the 3rd floor, fork in your mouth. That way, when you land face down, you'll swallow it and choke. Thanks, Hank. Next.
Hi, I'm Janet.
Hi, Janet.
I'm a failed suicide attempter, and it all started when I was getting ready to go to school a few mornings ago. I was putting on my shoes, and I usually time my mornings perfectly, but on this particular occasion, I was running about 5 minutes late. I was tying my shoe as I saw the bus coming down the street, and in a rush, I yanked one of my shoelaces, and it snapped off in my hand. Now, I had been wearing thin for quite some time, but that's besides the point. Now, you have to understand, I couldn't just grab another pair of shoes. My outfits are meticulously planned out. So I had to go upstairs, pick out new shoes, and arrange a whole new outfit. Needless to say, I missed the bus, and this really made me mad. Granted, it's only a 15-minute bike ride, but I don't like riding my bike. It makes me sweaty, and it messes up my hair. Not to mention the chafing and the camel toe. I got to school, and I walked in the first period later than I normally do. And when I started walking to my seat, I saw that there was a new girl sitting in it. I didn't feel comfortable telling her it was my seat, even though she really just should have stood up in the back of the class until all the regular students taken their seats. But whatever. I stood in the back in the regular seat and just stared at the back of this girl's head, waiting for it to explode. I couldn't pay attention in class at all. Not only was I thinking of different passive-aggressive ways that I could get back at this girl, but the whole perspective of the room was different, and I didn't feel comfortable looking at the teacher from the back center instead of the middle right. When I got to lunch, I was in a foul mood. The line was longer than usual, and the whole girls' basketball team was in front of me, so I couldn't even see what was being served. When I got to the front, the lunch lady gave me Jamaican beef patty instead of the Mexican pita that I wanted, and then she told me that they only had 1% milk instead of non-fat. Well, that was the straw that broke the camel toe's back. I left my tray there, and I ran to the girls' bathroom. I locked myself in the handicapped stall, filled up the sink, and submerged my face in it. I thought it would be the best way to drown myself so that when they found me, I would still look cute. But the plugs in the bathroom sinks are always faulty, and all the water would drain out before I had time to properly suffocate. I tried several times before I got tired and dizzy, and then when I heard the bell for 5th period, I thought I should better go to class. I think next time I'll have to try to drown myself in the toilet.
Janet, I have a car and we could ride together, and maybe if we're both feeling crappy, we could roll up the windows and try to suffocate ourselves in there. Yeah.
Yes, of course. We're all feeling crappy. You can suffocate together. What the hell? You got to do more than that. You got to stuff your drawers and your brassiere in the exhaust pipe so the fumes can help with your suffocation. And while you're waiting to die, you and Miss Prissy can put on your makeup and sing, "Oh, Lady Janet died. How did she die? Well, she died like this." Okay, moving on. Who else needs to share?
Hi, my name is Annie.
Hi, Annie.
I unsuccessfully attempted suicide again. This time it was because of a book. There's this awesome new series I've been reading, and this week I read the last book. Everyone was reading it, and I had the library's only copy because the bookstore was out. Yesterday I got to the last page of the book where the hero's name is revealed, and it was blacked out with a Sharpie. There was even an evil smiley face now. I mean, who does that? So, I was so devastated. I mean, that's just awful. My life was poison and die. But all I got was a bandaged hand.
Wait, you like the Quest series too? I got the last copy of it at the bookstore. So if you want, you could borrow mine, and then maybe we could talk about it.
Really? That would be great.
Book shamuck. I'm tired and sick and tired of all these failures. So you would never know what the hero's name is. Invent one. And stop drenching your sick little mind into things that are no importance to your existence. And focus, people. Graphite poisoning? Who the hell ever died of graphite poisoning? Next time you brand night, silly. Okay, listen up, everybody. There's a new facilitator in town, and I'm here to tell you all that you give up so easily. You don't get validation, you walk away. You don't get enough attention, you take some aspirin. That's the problem with your generation. You're overindulged by your parents, and you're spoiled and impatient, and you're entitled. Hence the so-called suicide attempt. You don't want to die. You want people to pity you. It's pathetic. If you wanted to die, you'd be dead already. I mean, Hank, a sport? Really? An Anna? And you wanted to die because of a book? Quest series? Really? You know, you two deserve each other. P.S. Perry Harder died. What you really need to do is stop whining. Show some willpower. You're no better than anybody else in this group. We're all in this together. And stop drowning in self-pity. Snap out of it and let's try and get it right.
You know what? Screw you and your butter cookies.
Yeah, your cold-ass coffee. Come on, Janet, let's go. I came here for attention.
That's all right. You all need me one day. You'll be back. You'll see.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but new teacher, you know.
Thanks a lot. You know, I feel like I can really talk to you. And after sitting here listening to this, I'm kind of thinking suicide's not the right idea.
Yeah, you have a good idea. I feel the same way, especially now that I've met you. Maybe life isn't so bad.
Oh.
Would maybe you like to get a cup of coffee? My car's right across the street.
Sure, I like that.
All right, now.
As Annie and Hank walked out of the building, they were gazing into each other's eyes as they crossed the street. They did not see the bus that was careening towards them. The bus slammed into them, and they died on impact.